Hey guys, welcome back to the Peachtree Fright Nights. Another night, guys. Welcome back to another show. Mr. Loa here. Hey guys, how you guys doing tonight? Well, tonight's gonna be another loner due to the fact that Pistol Pete will not be able to join me on a Zoom call because he got called out to work, guys. He wanted me to let you guys know that he wishes he could have been here tonight to be able to do this tonight, but I guess not. Smoking Longhas won't be here due to the fact that he's on vacation for Easter, so he went home kind of early, guys. But that's just the lifestyle of the working man and the family man. So that's just the way it goes. But no worries, guys. I got a couple of stories for you guys tonight, and I will touch on the topic about what Smokey Longhas was talking about that happened on the last podcast we had. Um, where he was talking about that some stuff had gone down when we were recording and I ended up cutting it out due to the fact that it was just weird the way things happened. There was a it was a one when it was Pistol P was talking about the Skinwalker story, you know what I mean? We had an incident where like Smoking Long Guy started feeling weird, like he started feeling sick while he was talking about that story. And I started feeling it as well. I felt that energy as well when he was talking about that story. Um, and the video, I had to cut it out where you could see Smoking Long House kind of like not feeling good. Like he kept feeling weird and kept moving and felt uncomfortable. And the trippy part about it, that is that when I was editing the video, I ended up catching an orb while he was talking about that story. You see an orb run across the screen, and I thought at first it was a bug or something, man. But when we kept looking it over and over, it was just kind of odd, But I'll probably upload that later on. Maybe when he comes back, so we can show it, so he can talk about it more. But tonight, guys, I have two stories from Monterrey, Nuevo León. I was talking to some cousins from over there, and they had mentioned two stories to me. So they're called mitos de Monterrey, and one of them is called La Leyenda de la Clinica 25. I guess it's about a nurse that worked at a hospital, and another one's called Los Ninos del Topo Chico. And I ended up translating those into English, guys, so I can read the stories to you, what those stories are about. It's kind of weird in Mexico. There's always a lot of stories and legends that go around in different pueblos. And these kind of like hit that kind of point, with those stories. So I'll go ahead and read them to you guys now, just to keep you entertained, I guess, for this time. Hopefully, next time the other guys get to join me on these stories. I know Pistol P had a couple that he had heard about, but I guess we'll save those for another time, and hopefully, I think Smoking Longhas has some other ones from Albuquerque that he found online as well, but we'll leave those for next time. This one's called La Leyenda de la Clínica 25 de Monterrey, and it goes like this, guys. The legend has it that a Monterrey hospital in Nuevo León, Mexico, is home to the creatures from beyond the grave. Since many horrible stories have taken place in it, such as curses, exorcisms, and deaths itself, the first known case was that of a nurse named Margarita, whose husband abandoned her, spending too much time in the hospital, leaving her alone and heartbroken. I guess from the story, he was also a doctor and she was a nurse that fell in love with him. So Margarita was so angry about the misfortune that she began to alter her patients' medications. In retaliation, causing the death of many of them. These atrocities were only revealed 10 years later when the doctor discovered his perversions, and Margarita did not want to go to jail. So she locked herself in a drugstore and took drugs to die from. So, in other words, the way the legend in Spanish goes is like Margarita fell in love with a doctor, right? But I guess he ended up falling in love with somebody else and she stayed heartbroken. So, in retaliation, she started hurting people. She would like malpractice medicine, and a lot of people started dying according to what the story goes over there. A lot of people started dying, and she kept doing this for 10 years, and a lot of people kept dying and they couldn't find out why. So I guess in one of these situations, they ended up catching her red-handed what she was doing, and when she freaked out that she had been caught by a doctor, she ran into a closet where they had all the medication, and she ended up taking some medication that was not supposed she wasn't supposed to take, and she ended up, I guess, dying or getting poisoned or something. And so after she passed away, a lot of people started reporting, you know, well, not it was like, I guess, patients started reporting they will see a nurse that was kind of freaky. So let me read back more what they said. So although the nurse no longer personally harmed the patients on the seventh floor, her vengeful spirit remained in our world and continued to make those she hated suffer. So mysteriously, deaths continued to occur until one night a patient suddenly started screaming. When a team of doctors and nurses entered the room, they found Margarita's ghost administering medication to a patient who kept pleading for help. The ghost's face was pale as a skeleton. Her uniform was very old, and the nurse disappeared before the crowd. Following the supernatural event, the seventh floor was closed for a time until it was confirmed that the evil nurse was no longer, I guess, not like nursing there, I guess. A few years later, although a terrible event came, and it is said that an exorcism was performed on a woman on the 10th floor. So there is an incredible negative energy in this plant, which is still closed. But whatever resides on that abandoned plant, no one can certainly discover it because although there's no way to enter, witnesses say that the elevator sometimes gets stuck for no apparent reason when it is passing through that 10th floor. The door opens, issuing an invitation to go in there. A nurse who had worked in the hospital for almost her life ensured that all these stories were true, and there were even more horrible ones, such as one about a death in which a group of three people who were about to die. One of them appeared to him before he died, the nurse said. He claims that he could feel the Grim Reaper close, and at one point, even a skeleton appeared to him, the appearance of which was that of an elegant man dressed in black, and at first, he did not know it was supernatural. The presence until he realized that no one else could see it. Just as there are legends of horror in the hospital, there are also legends of the benevolent persons, and many witnesses claim to have been accompanied by a caressing spirit, the spirit of a friendly nurse who helped the patients in need. Yeah, that one I heard as well. Is that one's called the planchada. Supposedly, the story goes about that one. That nurse she was a good caring nurse that pretty much lived her whole life helping people. She passed away as well, but they said that she will show up to help people in need. So when people were going through a lot of pain, she will come and help them, and she'll appear and give them their medication. There was a case I think somebody mentioned where some patient was talking about that the nurse was supposedly a nurse appeared to him and gave him the medication he was supposed to take on time, and the nurse that actually came and tried to give it to him was running kind of late. When she showed up to give him the medication, he told her like, "No, you already gave me the medication." She's like, "No, what are you talking about? I'm barely here to give you the medication." And she was like, "No, no, no. The other nurse already came in here." And she's like, "What other nurse? I'm the only nurse up here in this room." She's like, "No, no, the other nurse came and gave me the medication on my time." She's like, "No, that can't be. I'm the only nurse here." He's like, I'm with you in this room. I'm in charge of you." He's like, "No, the other one's like, so what did you describe her to me?" So he described her that she was real planchada, real clean, real, neat. But the dress she was wearing was from another time. You know what I mean? So she remembered hearing about rumors about the planchada, and she remembered that she will appear to people and needed help. But it's kind of like a good omen and bad because a lot of people say that if she appeared to you, and helped you and give you medication, you were going to get better. But if she appeared to you to try to comfort you because you were in a lot of pain and she wouldn't give you medication or help you, just to comfort you, it was kind of like a warning, like it's almost time to go. You know. So, like I said, that's just mitos from the story over there. But about that other one, yeah. So according to what happened is like she would appear even after death and mess with people's medications, and a lot of people kept dying. So the first one was a very evil nurse, and I think in Monterrey that hospital, I don't know if it's still standing. I had heard they got knocked it down, but according to the story, is that floor was forbidden. Nobody could go in there, and because there was too many bad things happening in there. So I guess the evil had taken over that floor, and it was forbidden to ever stop or even get off of there. But like they said, a lot of times the elevator would get stuck there, and the doors were open, like an invitation, like come in if you dare. And a lot of people were like, no, close the door, because I guess they had set it up where not even the door would open, but somehow it would stop sometimes to some people and invite them in. That's crazy, man. When you think about it, I don't like hospitals as it is. Not knowing stories like that, and you'd have to be stuck in that hospital like that. That is pretty freaky, man. There was another one, guys, that they sent to me. Let me find it right quick, and it's called Los Ninos del Topo Chico. So this story, guys, is basically about some kids that went to go play in the wrong area and ended up losing their lives. You know, so here we go. El Topo Chico is one of the most famous neighborhoods in Monterrey, with a dark legend that remains in the memory of the residents to this day. It says the event took place in 1949 near the hill of El Topo Chico, where three children who lived there will always play together, two brothers and a cousin. But a very but they were very like restless. They were always running around playing. Since they were a poor family, their parents let them play outdoors to distract themselves. Their favorite hobby was taking long walks in the mountains because the Monterrey, there's hills. El Cerro de la Silla, which is a mountain that looks like a horse's saddle. You can climb up there, man. It's just monte, you know what I mean? Like you can climb up there, but it's very steep, so it's kind of dangerous. You got to know what you're doing going up there. So they were climbing the mountain, I guess, and one day they asked their parents if they could leave early in the morning. But as time passed, the children did not return until dark. Their parents began to worry. I guess the kids went, they didn't return. That night, the next morning, they tried to search the surroundings, but there was no sign of the children. The search was later extended to more remote communities such as Saltillo, Reynosa, and Laredo. Nobody knows what happened to the children. A few days later, the parents of one of the children learned the terrible news while reading the newspaper. Authorities had discovered the human remains of three children in the Cerro de Topo, in the Topo Canyon. It was a place they liked to climb. A leather jacket worn by one of them helped identify them. A teenager who was herding sheep made this gruesome discovery. However, he was shocked to see the bodies and died soon after. I guess also as I guess from being scared. Why they were why were the poor children there and was the case of their deaths? This is a question that still has no answer. The location was at an army training ground, and it is rumored that a soldier accidentally left a hand grenade there. Perhaps the children found it and, unaware of the danger, blew it up, killing themselves instantly. The inhabitants of Topo Chico say that at night they hear the laughter of children near that hill, followed by eerie sounds of explosions and gunshots. Wow, man, that's kind of crazy. So, I guess what they mean by that is that I guess these kids ran into like they were playing around in a military like training facility or training place, I guess. And they must have found like a grenade or something and didn't know what it was. Think about when it's children, you find an object, you have no clue. And this is a poor family, these poor children know nothing about military or stuff like that. And they found a grenade and it's like, man, what is this? It's a rock. It's weird looking. What is this little thing right here? And they pulled it, I guess, a pin, not knowing what that device was and ended up killing themselves. I can only imagine, man, the other kid that found him just in pieces, and no wonder he died, man, of shock, I guess. But that's one of the legends, and I guess what they say is they say legends about that as well, where like they hear soldiers have even heard stuff there, like children laughing. They go and look, and they find nothing. You know what I mean? They just eerie noise, and that's kind of crazy, man. But like those stories, guys, just plenty more from Monterrey, man. That was just a few that like a pair that my family had sent me. I'm gonna ask for more because I know there's more stories from over there. Mexico, there's stories everywhere. But I'll leave it at that, guys. Like I said, thank you for joining me tonight. It was a quick one, and hopefully, Pistol P will be back next week. We can do a Zoom, And Smoke Along us will be back too as well. And we'll have some more stories for you guys. Thanks for joining me tonight, man. I know I'm the only one here tonight, but thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Give it a like, subscribe. Thank you for following us on the Peachtree Podcast Official on the Instagram. We know we're growing little by little, guys. And thank you for joining us on this great ride to the top. As always, Mr. Loa here. Have a blessed night, guys. Peace out. Check it out.